Hi everybody, I'm Jess, this is Larp 101 and today we're going to be talking about how to stay safe at a Larp event. Okay, so a few months ago there was a reported incident at a system here in the UK. I'm not going to go into which system or the various details because all I have is secondhand information. However, when the incident came to light, it did start conversations between me and various groups of my friends about staying safe at LARP events and what attendees can do to help improve their own safety. Before we go into the various advice I have in this video, I would like to state for the record that it doesn't matter how much advice from this video you take, whether you decide to listen to everything I say or you decide to ignore it. If something happens to you at an event, that is not your fault. You are not responsible for the actions of other people, and assault is always the fault of the perpetrator and not the victim. So truthfully, there are areas of the LARP community who have problems with what is known as a missing stare. If you have never heard this term before, let me explain. A missing stare is a term used to describe a member of a community whom the other members of that community know to be untrustworthy. However, instead of removing them, they will simply warn newcomers about them quietly as to not make waves within the community. This is generally comparable to a step missing in a staircase that people have become complacent with and step over, as opposed to repairing what is potentially a very dangerous problem. Missing stairs often have a foothold in their community, which make people uncomfortable about confronting them about their behaviour. It could be that they hold a significant position within that community, that they're friends with the right people, or very simply that they are just charismatic enough to convince people that their victims are exaggerating or overreacting. LARP is an ideal environment for missing stairs because it is a hobby that tends to attract vulnerable people, whether that be physically, mentally, or emotionally. It is generally a place where alcohol and general encouragement to get out of your comfort zone is quite rife, and that unfortunately makes it an ideal scenario for peer pressure and people getting into uncomfortable situations. So let's talk about a few steps that you and your friends can take to help keep yourselves safe. Just because you are playing a fictional character does not mean that your real life boundaries are not a factor. No one should be putting you in a situation where you feel out of character and uncomfortable about it. You have every right during play to turn around and go, no, I am not comfortable with this out of character, and nobody has the right to tell you otherwise. Many LARP systems have a variety of signals or safety words that they use in order to indicate how people are feeling out of character about certain situations. Before you even enter the game you're going to, find out what those are. And if a system does not have any of these signals or safety words, then you have every right to stop right where you are in the middle of play if you're not happy and say stop. Your consent as to what things happen in the game is very important, and you have the right to withdraw your consent at any time. And if your wishes are ignored, then you are perfectly in your rights to do whatever it takes to remove yourself from that situation, and then you should go and inform a member of the event staff. Crime happens at LARP events just like anywhere else, so it is best to make sure that you prepare yourself ahead of time in order to minimise your risk as much as possible. It's really easy to be lulled into a false sense of security. Every event that you attend should have a safeguarding policy in place in order to protect vulnerable attendees. This policy should not just cover children and vulnerable adults, but also should cover people who are going through a process that might make them vulnerable, such as having mental distress or being intoxicated. Make sure you find this policy before you attend the event and make sure you read it thoroughly. Once you get to the event, make yourself very familiar as to where the security team are and where first aid is. If you find yourself in a dangerous situation, these are the places you want to end up. Unnecessary valuables should be left at home, and if you have valuables that you need to keep with you, such as money or your phone, keep it on your persons at all times. Don't leave them in your car or your tent, because these are places that can get broken into on an out of character basis at LARP events. If you witness a crime happening at a LARP event, make sure to report it immediately. Being a bystander perpetuates these problems, and antisocial behaviour in the LARP community needs to be cracked down on as quickly as possible. LARP is a great place to go and hang out with your friends. However, it is really important that once you're all there, you do take care of each other. Make sure to stay in groups, especially at night. It is generally safer for you both in and out of character if you are with people that you know. Don't wander off with people that you don't know very well. Even under the best of circumstances, it is always much safer if your friends and family know exactly where you are. If your event is family friendly, make sure that you look at all of their rules and policies ahead of time to make sure you know what to expect when you're bringing children to the event. It may seem like a great place to let your kids run off wild and slay dragons, but in reality that's probably not actually going to be a safe option for them. At my main festival events, the Lorien Trust, children up to a certain age are expected to be supervised at all times, and our plot team for children is completely checked under the UK Disclosure and Barring Service. And regardless of their age, all children are expected to be back into their home camps by sundown unless they are being supervised by a parent or guardian. So it is really important to find out what exactly the policies are for bringing children before you go to an event, because what you think might be appropriate might not be. In addition, it's also a really good idea to make sure your children also know where first aid and security are, because if they get lost, these are really good places for them to go to if they don't know where to find you. In addition, having a set location to meet back up with your children will make it a lot easier to find them should they get lost in the first place. And even if you're going to a LARP fest type system with your friends, it is still good to have a place where you can all know that you're going to meet back up at afterwards. LARP events are a whirlwind of chaos and loads of fun, so it is always best to have somewhere where you know that if you are all getting lost, that's where your friends are going to end up. LARP is so much fun, and as long as you're being safe, there is no reason why you shouldn't be able to go and get stuck in and enjoy your event. So my next video is going to be all about my top hints and tips on how to get stuck in at your very first LARP event. So make sure you hit the subscribe button and the little notification bell if you haven't done so already, so you don't miss out on that video. I also recommend that you follow me on Twitter and Instagram if you haven't done so already, because I like to post up lots of things on there about my updates for my videos. If you want further advice on how to stay safe at a LARP event, I recommend this video by a YouTuber I follow called Larp Mix. It's really helpful and has lots of really good advice. I also recommend visiting the website Festival Safe, which I have put a link in the description box below, which has a lot of good advice for staying safe at a festival. Not all LARP events are festivals, but you will be surprised how much of the advice they give does apply. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you are all staying safe and healthy. I will see you on a battlefield soon.